So today I want to talk about the scarcity and abundant mindset. This has been going over and over and over in my head. I got to move a few screens around the place so I can actually see what I'm talking about here. And I have a scarcity acid test for you. So you can answer me in the chat box. I want to put up an S or an A in the chat box. This is going to be fun now. Under your name. Just give me an S or an A. If you think you have a scarcity mindset when it comes to money particularly, but money's just one of the many things, put an S. If you think you have an abundant mindset, put an A. Come on, just be honest with yourself because we're going to find out real quick. Everybody's got to put a number in there. I'm waiting for everybody to come in here. Okay, so I got to tell you, it almost a split. It seems like half of you think you're scarcity. Well, here's the acid test. So, and it's got to participate in the chat box here. If I came into your business, and if you don't own this business and you're running it like Turner, pretend it's your business. So if I came into your business and said, I'm going to come in and help you run your business. I'm going to run it pretty similar to the way I run all my other stuff, but I'm going to help you run your business. And I will guarantee you that you'll make $50,000 extra, or hope to make $50,000 extra, but you ain't going backwards no matter what. So you only have upside, $50,000. That's my best guess. If you're running a real business, I think I can squeeze another 50 out of it. Would you let me come in and help you to put $50,000 into your pocket? Yes or no? Put it in the chat box. Yes or no, would you let me come in? I say, look, I promise you're only going up in income. You're not going down in income. And I think you can go up by 50 grand over the next 1 year. Would you let me come in and help you? So I got all yeses. Okay. So here's the question. I'm going to come in, and you know what I think I'm going to be able to do? I think I'm going to be able to get you to increase your profits by $100,000 in your business. I think between, my awesomeness, I think we could make 100 grand extra in your company. But here's the rub. Whatever we make extra over and above what you used to make, so you're not going backwards. Your salary's not going backwards. Your salary's only going up. But whatever we make, we split it 50-50. So at the end of next year, if your company made $100,000, but you got to now stroke me a check for $50,000. You get another 50 for yourself, but you got to stroke me a check for $50,000 also. Would you still do the deal? Would you do that deal? Honestly, you got to pay me 50. So I got one, Matt says, don't know. Everybody else so far says yes, but I haven't gotten a response. I want to hear the story. I want to hear the answer from everybody. Would you pay me that 50? Would you have a hard time? Let's say 10, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 is you couldn't give me the 50 fast enough because you're happy as shit. And 1 is begrudgingly, you hate to give me the 50, but goddamn it, a deal's a deal and you'll give me 50. Where are you on that number scale? Are you happy to just give me 50? Because I brought whatever magic I brought to make us both 50? Or are you a little bit pissed off that all I really do is brought some knowledge, didn't do a goddamn lick of work, just a bunch of knowledge, change a few things around, and I made 50 grand for that. And you still work 60 hours a week like you do. So, Vale, you say Yeah, but it'd be tough because people are greedy. I'm not worried about people, Vale. I'm worried about you, Vale. And just so you know, I'm going to visit Vale. I'm flying all the way out to Hawaii. I'd like to say just to visit Vale, but it ain't just to visit him. But I am going to visit him. If that's part of the deal that I would follow through, yes, it would be a hard time. Okay. Janelle would just give me the money. Most people, it looks like, okay, I'm good with that. So let me tell you the story of my buddy. This is a true story now. This is Joe. Joe used to pour swimming pool decks for me back in the 90s when I had my pool company. He's an immigrant from Portugal. He got off the boat not speaking a freaking word of English, man. He knew nothing, but he's a true mason. He knows how to put those beautiful stone veneers on these beautiful $1 million homes. He can do anything with cement and stone. And by the way, he makes about $500,000 a year. So a guy that just got off the boat, can't speak any English, is making $500,000 a year because he's a goddamn good business guy. He knows how to add up. He knows if it costs him $100, he better be charging 200. He doesn't. He understands it's not worth working your ass off and not making money. So he makes $500,000 a year, but he can make a hell of a lot more than that. I think the guy can make $1 million. In fact, he made 1 year. I forget the year. It's 2007. That's what it was. Because I asked him at lunch about a year ago, Joe, what's the most amount of money you ever made in 1 year? And without missing a beat, he goes, 2007, I made $1 million. Sidebar, does that piss you off? A freaking immigrant hops on a boat, can't speak English, has a skill, made $1 million for herself in 2007. Does that piss you off? He's no smarter than you, doesn't work harder than you, doesn't have any more skills than you. I mean, he's skillful in his area, but you're skillful in your area. He's had no training, no formal training whatsoever. My tree man, he doesn't have but half his mouth is minus teeth. He's a good old redneck from frickin' East locally, but boy, you'd think he was from the hills of West Virginia. He's the rudest, crudest guy you ever met in your entire life, and he's never touched a computer. That man has no formal education. I don't think he got out of 6th grade. And that son of a makes about $600 a year. I'm like, goddamn, you can't even keep track of these people. You're a total freaking mess. And you make $600 a year. How in the hell does that happen? Back to Joe. So I said, Joe, and this is before I started, certainly started the CSA. It's probably 5 years ago. I said, Joe, you're missing out on a lot of shit. And I talked to him about his insurance, and he's getting taken advantage of in insurance. And because he doesn't have really good English and doesn't understand a lot about business, he's pissing away a lot of money because people are taking advantage of him. He just pays it. Not only that, he doesn't get a lot of ins with a lot of people that don't want to deal with Hispanic people that don't have good English. Like commercially, they don't want to deal with him, the property managers. So I would be his salesman. I would be the guy that helped run his business. I would be the guy that helped make sure he's not getting ripped off with insurance and all the other things, and make sure he's not getting taken advantage of at the auto dealership. I would do all those things. And I said, Joe, here's how I'd like it to work. I'll come in and work my ass off. And you're going to make this only more money. You're not going to make less money. And I think basically what's going on now, you're basically making about $500,000 a year. I think we could probably make 700 being conservative. I think I could squeeze another $200,000 in profits. But what I want to do is after you make your 500, whatever you think, whatever you've been making, so through my efforts, you're only making more, we split it. He goes, Steve, that sounds fair. Because if you do what you say you're going to do, I'm going to make another 100 grand. And if it falls apart and you don't do it, then I still make my 500 and you make nothing for all your efforts. Is that correct? That's correct, Joe. This is 100% guarantee. You only go up, you don't go down. He said, Steve, let's do it. I said, great. Well, I got a call from him about a day later. And what do you think? Give me a guess in the chat box. What do you think that conversation was about when he called me back? And he goes, Steve, I got a problem. What do you think his problem was? Any guesses? So 2 out of 3 got it right. It was his wife. His wife could not understand how on earth are you going to pay Steve $100,000? But honey, he only gets paid 100 if I make 100. You cannot pay someone 100,000. That's just not going to happen. Joe could not explain to his wife the concept of only going up. And we're only going up if we have this guy's help. And if it works out like we're all hoping it works out, we just make more. But you pay him 100,000. No, that's our money. That is our money. How could you pay him? Honey, without him, we're not going to make it. It didn't matter what Joe said to his wife. All Joe saw was more money for he and his family. Abundance. All his wife saw was Steve taking 100 grand away from the family. Scarcity. This is not just with money, this is with life. If you are of that scarcity mindset, your back is against the wall, not just in finances, but in every freaking thing you do. This is the way you come at things. You can't see this. And here's the sad part. I've attempted this arrangement no less than 6 times in my life. 6 times. And 100% of the time, I didn't get kickback from the working owner of the business. I got kickback from the spouse. And I don't know why that is. Let me ask you a question. You ever gone out with a group of people and at the end, you just sprang for dinner and it might have been $1,000 or $2,000. Have you ever done that in your life? There's a group of you, maybe there's 20 of you in a room, maybe it's 10. And you secretly go off. Have you ever done this? And you pay for it? Come on. Have you ever secretly gone off and you pay for the thing? And it's a lot of freaking money. But you're not really concerned about the money. You're concerned that everybody in the room has an experience. And maybe that experience is just the absolute coolness of going, what? Wait, where's the bill? There's no bill? So as good as everybody else feels, when you do shit like that, it makes you feel the best. If you do stuff like that, then you have an abundant mindset because you're not really worried about the money. What you're worried about is that everybody's having a kick-ass time in the room. It's the same thing when shit goes wrong. Do you look out the window at all the employees or even your spouse or your kids and you blame everything going wrong on them? Or are you looking in a mirror and going, how did I screw this one up? I got to tell you, I think that Marcus Sheridan, I don't know how many of y'all showed up to listen to Marcus on last Thursday, but that was his go-to, and I've used it 3 times since. And I've mentored people using that 3 times since. No matter how pissed you are at someone else for doing something, even if you think they are dead wrong, do you have the balls, the courage to go, I'm sorry. I must have failed you. Or sorry, I didn't get my point across. Or I'm sorry, I screwed up. Now you may not feel inside that you're the one that screwed things up. But if you go tell someone else, hey, you fucked up, they're going to just clam up and get defensive. But if you go at them and you apologize and go, I'm sorry, I screwed this up, you'll get a hell of a different response.